Can you imagine that the Cleveland Marathon has its 40th birthday coming up this weekend? That's exactly the case. It's the Rite of Spring in downtown Cleveland. And the man that always puts it all together is Jack Staph, the executive race director of the Cleveland Marathon, sponsored by Rite, the Cleveland Marathon,
Right.
10K, half marathon, 40 years old. Do you realize, Jack Staph, my first play-by-play assignment here in Cleveland when I arrived was to be in the back of the lead truck when Channel 3 was televising it, and a guy from Mexico, Demetrio Cabanillas, was winning the marathon that year.
He ran it in 2:15.
He ran it in 2:15.
Remember, he and Charlie Vigil were battling out on the bridge, and he left them on the bridge. Right.
I always had a great time. It's a great time, but you know, so I've been here 32 years, so it's 8 years before that. How did it all start?
Well, I ran in the first one, and there was a little bit of a mix-up at Public Square. And at that time, I was the assistant general counsel of the sponsor. And because of the mix-up, and I was a runner, and they thought because you're a lawyer, maybe you ought to get involved and cover some of the details. So I got involved with the second year and started organizing it. And then it just grew, and then I think it
really did grow.
And then, we had like 4,000 runners the first year with the marathon and 10K.
And was it always downtown?
Always, yeah. We started at different places now. And then over time, I took over, and then we went through the company, this title sponsor, went through some mergers, and they kept me on, and then I finally bought the rights to it, and now I have Rite as my title sponsor.
Yeah, because it just used to be known. This is not sacrilegious to say. It used to be known as the Revco.
It was.
Okay.
That's what I worked for.
Some of the great moments that I remember. I remember there was a guy from Ohio. They won it. Ted Roop won it one year. He had a running wife, Michelle Roop, who was a talented runner.
She, up until about 5 years ago, she still was running and finishing in the top 10 and the 10K.
Okay, and then you brought in really some world-class runners, because the 10K, and at one point I remember we called it one year here on Channel 3, there was a world record.
It was.
But you had the grand dame, I thought, of running, Ann Audain.
And she's here this weekend.
That's great.
Yeah. She's won here 8 times. And the year that Peter Kamali, by the way, who's deceased, won the 10K and set the record, I was standing at the finish line, and I thought, this course is short. No one can run that fast.
Right.
And the first thing I did is went over to our guys and said, before they announce it, make sure this course is correct.
Yeah, and of course we had the great running announcer that always joins us on the telecast, Tony Revis, and he was saying, this is a world record.
Right, exactly.
Really, this is a world record. Yeah. But it's a great day for a lot of people. I mean, you know, for some people it's not a world record, but it's just a personal triumph, isn't it?
Yeah, and when at 40 years, I think back, and I'm getting older myself, and as I think back, I think of all the people who've been involved, all the sponsors, all the volunteers that turned this into a little road race into a great race. The city of Cleveland has done a great job with us. The race turns in about $18 million of economic impact over 3 days.
Right.
And it's just great to show off our neighborhoods and our landmarks.
You know, there was always the great shot and the great sight at the start of the race when everybody is congregated and then takes off on the starter's bell, and especially the 10K, because that's a bigger field, but also the marathon. It's just a pretty shot as people are coming through downtown Cleveland on the morning of the race. Tell us about, you have an expo again?
We do. We have an expo at the Huntington Convention Center, which is going on right now. It started at 11 o'clock this morning. We'll go till 7, then starts again tomorrow at 10. And then tomorrow at Public Square, we're going to have the 8K and 5K and kids race.
Wow.
And then on Sunday, we're going to start at the Q, which is very popular these days.
Yes.
And we're going to start the marathon, 10K, and half all at one time, and it will finish at the Public Square.
How about that?
Yeah.
Your favorite memory of the marathon? 40 years, Jack. What an accomplishment, first of all.
I think my favorite memory will be several. Was the aftermath when all of us guys used to sit around, including you, and just drink some refreshments and talk about it. Those are great memories. As far as the event goes, probably Kamali's world record, because I was stunned. I didn't think, as I said earlier, I didn't think the course was measured correctly. Yeah.
So registration, I mean, is still available for people to get out there?
Well, no longer online. You have to go down to the, as I said, the convention center, and you can register online. You can register in person, and we're taking registrations all the way up till tomorrow night.
Here's the one thing I want to throw out to people, and of course you've run it many, many times, and that is, if it's your first marathon, you're going to get really excited with all of those people there. Don't blow yourself out early in the race, right? Trust your training.
Yeah.
Huh? Am I onto something there?
You are. The thing, anyone that says to me, what should I do? This is my first race. It's to start out and breathe.
Right.
And take your time and don't really start your race until about 6 miles.
Yeah.
You know, get all that energy, but that's hard to do.
It is.
That's very hard to do. And you know, you just take your time, get an even pace, whatever your training pace was, get a little bit below it for the first couple miles.
And maybe get a good running friend. Right,
that's
to
always
hook up
good.
with,
A pacer.
Yeah, a
pacer's-
pacer, okay.
Yeah, very good.
Remember, Jack, when you used to have those rabbits that would take the marathon race out? Yeah.
One incident where a rabbit was supposed to drop off at 13 miles and he stayed in. I got worried about that too. He stayed till 17 miles.
I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
40 years, congratulations, and it's a great day coming up. Saturday and Sunday now, all weekend long, is the Cleveland Marathon with Rite as the participating and title sponsor, and Jack Staph as the executive race director. Good friend, always good to have you here.
Thank you very much. Always good to be here.